it up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song, then you know it is time for me to say good night to the world. Matter of fact, I can say good night, good morning, and or good afternoon to the world, because we are coming to you or streaming our social media to all parts of the universe. But in particular, I must say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and good night to the entire Caribbean region, and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk for tonight, Monday, the 12th day of February, in the year of our Lord 2024. And oh yes, coming up a few days from now, that day for the lovers. But we say good night to North America, because we are beaming all across North America. And we are in Asia, Europe, and in Africa. So I am at liberty as well to say good morning and or good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I'm always duty bound to say a special greeting, or send a special greeting to my first timers, and I thank those who continue to share the link. And for the first timers, we must let you know that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, and be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us in the process strive to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being number one, if not one of the freest countries in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. I always remind you that as your host, I pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I always am reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine, which goes like this. I like this excerpt, which goes like this, and I quote, "We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing that should be of God's will." And my Straight Talk family, I can assure you or reassure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, neither by omission nor by exaggeration. Because Straight Talk is not about sensationalism, and I'm saying this to the first timers in particular. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement at the expense of accuracy. We always lean on the facts, as I consider it my duty to always present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in this country of ours. And through this program, we are joined through this program, my Straight Dog family, we are joined together with people across the Federation, people all over the world, in the diaspora all over the world. And we know very well some of them. We have met some of them, as a matter of fact, and there's some of them that we will never meet. There's some who will agree with the positions of truth that we advance each time on this program. And some will obviously disagree. And we welcome diversity, because we're not a one-track think. We don't promote one-track thinking, I should say. And some will agree with the positions of truth, and obviously some will disagree. And that's fine. As I said, we promote diversity, but it will sadden me, my Straight Talk family, if we start to become disagreeable. So let us respect, don't necessarily have to accept, but let us respect the views that are exposed on the program. Let us also thank Almighty God, nonetheless, irrespective of the views or our disagreements. Let us together thank Almighty God for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for the day when we all sing His praises together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks once more for those who share the link as you bring first-timers. Please continue to do so. And for the first-timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are 663-6672. They are on your screen. 646-829-6672. And for those who like the cloak of anonymity, as I call it, we give you access via our email platform, that should be, which is Straight Talk Patches. That's one word, STRAIGHTTPATCHES @gmail.com. We also find it necessary, imperative, to welcome our Straight Talk Junior Brigade. And I think I saw a note from Rue over there in Rucosta over there in South Carolina. She's getting an award at her school, and we do congratulate her and trust that you'll keep your head high and focus as well all the time to strive to reach the stars. To a young Dwayne, Tristan, I trust that things are going well at the Charlestown Secondary School there. Shama, Tristan is in Tabernacle. Kevin is in Nevis at Charlestown Secondary School. Tristan, you reminded your mom, I hope. Shama, and I hailed young Rue Costa, Travis and Traban of Ponds Extension was happening with me tonight. And the special lady in St. Louis, haven't spoken for some time, but yes, I did commit that she would be here on our program shortly, having a discussion on some very interesting topic. My Straight Talk family, the Federation was saddened over the weekend when the news broke about the demise of two innocent children in the upper Monkey Hill area. And all I wish to say and wish to implore you as a Straight Dog family to let us pray for the families of these children and trust and hope that with the intervention of Almighty that we will find solace, or they will find solace in, or even after this tragic, very tragic incident. And for our first timers as well, usually we have a format for each show in that we consider our observations in review, after which a dissertation or short thesis is presented. The title of my thesis or short dissertation tonight is Let's Send Samal Back to Montreville Farms. And we'll get into that right after our observations in review, which are an integral part of Straight Talk. And following my thesis, I will then include your calls and your emails, excuse me, to allow your full participation. And our observations in review is a time when we highlight the current issues and do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions such as what was accomplished and how has it helped others? What has changed since and what can be expected next? And what new we have learned as a people. And for my first observation, I considered it necessary. I considered it an imperative to correct some information that was peddled by former Minister of Tourism, Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan, in relation to the breaking of the law by the Chief Legal Advisor to the government, Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. Our third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, raised the issue of the disgraced AG, Garth Lucifer Wilkin. And in terms of his responsibility to the rule of law. And I have for a long time advocated that this public officer has no moral authority whatsoever to speak about integrity. And our third Prime Minister had this to say, my straight dog family.
The Attorney General, in my view, cannot be the face of good governance in this country. Cannot be. In another country, when you have a nanny gate, people of decency and integrity recognize, given their position, that they should walk away. Walk away. Walk away and keep my integrity intact. Because you have to lead by example. Have to lead by example. If for 20 times you break a law, how you going to tell me once to go to jail? The unfairness, the perception that it gives that all are not equal before the law. Government must lead by example. And on integrity, the government is falling short.
And my straight dog family, contrary to what this Garth Lucian Wilkin apologist would like us to believe, that this was a one-off infraction when in fact he was proven to be a serial offender. Because over 2.5 years, or 2 years and a few months, over that period, Garth Lucifer Wilkin paid the money he deducted from the wages of his nanny, along with his matching contribution, 3 times. Imagine, 3 times in 30 months. And these deductions are made monthly. And strange but true, the first time that Garth Lucifer Wilkin paid the Social Security Board in months was the day after he was elected. The first time was the day after he was elected president of the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association. Then almost a whole year lapsed before he ran to pay his outstanding monies. The very day before he was appointed Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs. And contrary to what Astafan is trying to make us believe, Garth Lucifer Wilkin again failed to pay, even after he was appointed Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs. And it was when his nanny went to the Social Security Board to claim her dividend that was paid. Remember that dividend that was paid by July? She found out that her boss never paid her Social Security contributions for months, even though he was deducting money from her wages. It was then he ran to pay in January 2023, months after he was appointed Attorney General. And the facts can be gleaned from, I did intend to put those C3 forms on your screens, but I'll get them before the program is done. But Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan, I had promised not to call his name to add any credence to him, because he himself is found wanted. But he's viewing the law through the prism of his current politics, as he comes across as a proponent of kleptocracy. And you know, back in his day and tenure as Minister of Tourism, he introduced the country to billionaire Alan Stanford, according to his then leader, DLD, who told the country this.
Who brought Stanford? Who brought Alan Stanford to St. Kitts to buy government land at the airport? Of course it was Dwyer Astafan. It was Dwyer Astafan himself who went to Antigua to negotiate in Antigua with Stanford about the price of the land at the airport. It was Dwyer Astafan himself who called me from Antigua and wanted me to agree on the telephone as to what the price of the land must be that Stanford was offering to pay. And it was I, as the Prime Minister, who told Dwyer Astafan, you gotta be crazy, act to St. Kitts and bring that matter before the cabinet and let the cabinet sit down and let Stanford come to St. Kitts, sit in the cabinet room and negotiate with the government the conditions under which he must buy government land. That is why today when some people are making all kind of noises, I laugh. I laugh because they are hypocrites, political hypocrites and political prostitutes as well. Sorry to say that, but that is what it is. Who was it that brought Alan Stanford to St. Kitts to buy land at the airport? It was Dwyer Astafan himself and his law firm who benefited from the sale of that land.
And my Straight Talk family, it's important that we provide the facts, because some of these politicians or ex-politicians believe that we have a 3-day syndrome, so people forget. The Straight Talk's obligation is to ensure that the facts are accurate. So when Astafan is chatting his nonsense, we have to out him. Because today, Alan Stanford is rotting in a U.S. jail. After all, remember as well, that it was Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan who signed a $54 million contract for the Valley Greens golf course, but does not remember. My Straight Dog family, he claims he does not remember.
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking, where's the money? That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Can't say it didn't happen. So he gave us a ray gun he does not remember. Who believes Astafan? Nobody would. Nobody at all should believe Astafan, my straight dog family. But with politicians like Gerald Anthony Dwight Astafan, my straight dog family, Kititians and divisions would be losers because of his hypocrisy, according to Denzel Douglas. Say what you like about Denzel Douglas. He stood up to Gerald Anthony Dwight Astafan and people like him, my straight dog family. Remember Douglas said this as well. I remember this very well.
And so this nonsense that you hear all over the place about their lands being sold to bank and white people going to come. But who brought Stanford here? Eh? You think a white man bring a white man here? Who brought Stanford here? What are you talking about? This is a black man country. And it will remain a black man country. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis have nothing to fear. The youths of this country have nothing to fear. This is your land. This is your country.
And yes, my straight dog family, we had to go to the archives. We went to the archives because Astafan would like us to believe that Garth Lucifer Wilkin is this nice boy, and would like to make us believe that he was not making excuses, according to him, for this. My straight dog family. He'd like us to believe this, but we're not going to believe it at all.
Prior to becoming Attorney General, he owed Social Security money in relation to an employee of his. He was late in the payments, and he went to Social Security, sorted out the payments. That was the end of the matter. No legal action taken, no legal action necessary. Now, I said this happened before he became Attorney General, but I don't want that to be any distinguishing point in the conversation. He should have paid on time, and that's the end of it. Indeed, and I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not holding any brief for him either. How many employers do you think make their payments late? Well, my guess would be in the thousands. Of the 25 to 30,000 people who are said to contribute to Social Security or in Social Security, I would bet you maybe 1,000 employers or more pay late. Some don't pay at all.
Well, if they break the law, charge them. Whether it's 1,000, 10, 4, or 1. So if 1,000 break the law, you don't charge Lucifer Wilkin? Come on, Astafan. You're making excuses. Our second observation, my straight dog family, is one that keeps troubling quite a lot of people, especially those in the Green Valley area. Because new water was found in Keon. But before it is put into the system, the quality must be confirmed by a reputable, independent organization. So no matter what pictures the soccer engineer posts on his Facebook page, a Straight Dog family, we must support the people in the Keon area and ensure that their water is of a level of quality that ought to be consumed without any sort of problems whatsoever. And my Straight Dog family, The PM July, also the SOCA engineer, are therefore obligated to inform the country when this is done, especially coming against the backdrop that the well drilled by Bede, or the last well I should say, drilled by Bede almost 5 years ago, is yet to be commissioned. It is still capped over there in the Shadwell area. The well drilled 5 years ago, but you can see it is still capped off. And what is of great concern, though, my Straight Dog family, raised by residents of Keon and surrounding areas in particular, that has been brought to my attention, is the deafening silence, my Straight Dog family, the deafening silence of the manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, of the Water Services Department. Manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams has an obligation to the people of Keon, and by extension the country, to allay the fears surrounding water quality in St. Kitts. And drinking water quality varies from place to place, depending on the condition of the source water from which it is drawn and the treatment it receives. In the US, for example, drinking water must meet US Environmental Protection Agency regulations, EPA regulations. Community water systems follow the rules set forth by the Safe Drinking Water Act. And Cromwell Williams is well trained and holds, if I recall, a master's degree in hydrogeology. He's the only trained hydrogeologist in the Federation, and must know that drinking water standards ought to be enforced. And our standards must be at least as protective as EPA's national standards. In our case, we look to the CARICOM standards. But the rules of the Safe Drinking Water Act, and we don't have that act, so I'm referring to the one that I found, include guidelines for drinking water quality, water testing schedules, and water testing methods. But water contamination is a reality. I told you earlier about Shadwell 2 that was drilled by Bede 4 or 5 years ago, but it is still capped. My Straight Dog family, it is still capped. That well on your screen was drilled 4 or 5 years ago, but it's still capped. It is still capped because the water found there is contaminated, contains a high level of arsenic, which can poison people. There are mainly, my Straight Dog family, there are many rather possible sources of contamination, including sewage releases. We've had issues in the area in Shadwell and over there in Keon, where sugarcane was planted for well over 300 years. Naturally occurring chemicals and minerals, for example, I mentioned arsenic, my Straight Dog family. And arsenic is what was found in Shadwell 2, in the well that Bede drilled. The EPA set standards and regulations for the presence and levels of over 90 contaminants in public drinking water, including E. coli, salmonella, metals such as lead, and disinfection by products. Sometimes unsafe levels of harmful germs and chemicals contaminate public drinking water. The germs and chemicals can get in the water at its source. For example, groundwater, or water from lakes or rivers, or while water is traveling through the distribution system, the pipes, after the water treatment plant has already removed germs and chemicals for source water. And I want to encourage residents in Kion to you take a sample yourselves when you get it, if it gets into the system, and take it to the Bureau of Standards. The EPA requires water utilities to test for and address many germs and chemicals in their drinking water systems. And water utilities, like the Water Services Department in St. Kitts, are required to tell customers about testing for contaminants. So why is the manager and water engineer so silent? And they must tell us whether they found any unsafe levels of chemicals or germs in the water. Customers must be notified through notices of violations and drinking water advisories. The Water Services Department must also provide their customers with an annual drinking water quality report called the Consumer Confidence Report. So the manager and water engineer must tell the country about the testing that was done and done by whom for contaminants, and whether they found any unsafe levels of chemicals or germs in the water that was tested. The manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams of the Water Services Department must also be aware of the World Health Organization's guidelines, WHO guidelines for drinking water quality that were built on over 60 years of guidance by WHO on drinking water quality. These guidelines have formed the authoritative basis for the setting of national regulations and standards for water safety in support of public health. So the country does not want to hear from the politicians. The country wants to hear and must hear from the manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams. The Water Services Department has been silent as well on the delivery of water by the fire trucks, and that continues to be unacceptable. So Straight Talk is calling on the manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams to break his silence on the quality precautions that have been put into place at Kion, especially considering the existing water quality issues that have not been resolved for 4 or 5 years at Chadwell 2, a well that was drilled by Bede 4 or 5 years ago. And I worked with Cromwell Williams for many years. And I must say publicly, I have always found him to be a decent, honest, and consummate professional. We have always both agreed that water is life, and thus the significance of water for life and health is fundamental and cannot be overstated. Hence, the importance, the pertinence of ethics to water utilization and management is clear in a general sense. It is important for everyone involved in water resource management and in public health. And I know the Prime Minister is the Minister of Public Health, so he may want to overlook the responsibilities of the Ministry of Health. But everyone involved in water resource management and in public health must have a well-reasoned understanding of the moral values and obligations that correspond to that significance. In the domain of ethics, questions of scientific knowledge come together with aspects of cultural meaning and perception. Questions of conservation, yes, sanitation, yes, and health promotion come together with questions of justice, equity, and human rights. Questions of sustainability and biodiversity come together with questions of transparency, democratic governance, law, and policy. The conspicuous silence of the manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, cannot therefore be in the best public interest. We know that the Ministry of Health has a pivotal role to play when it comes to the quality of water for public use. I know that the Water Services Department and or the Ministry of Health do not have, underline, they do not have the capacity to test this type of water, and such capacity only resides in the Bureau of Standards, who will ensure that the World Health Standards are met. Politics, I say again, must not override the safety and quality of this water. The Ministry of Health must get the Bureau of Standards involved. Has a sample been sent to the multipurpose lab? Samples should be sent to an independent accredited laboratory to mitigate any risks concerning water quality. As a matter of fact, Straight Talk confirmed that the Bureau of Standards is the only laboratory in the region with ICP equipment. Yes, ICP, or inductively coupled plasma, is an analytic testing method that is used to measure element concentrations at trace levels. Generally, ICP is known for its ability to detect many metals and non-metals in liquid samples at extremely low concentrations, making it particularly appealing in applications requiring high levels of sensitivity or with strict compliance requirements. Furthermore, it can detect different isotopes of the same element in a sample, making it a valuable tool for isotopic labeling. My Straight Talk family, I spend time on this water quality because there are several benefits to using ICP for drinking water quality monitoring. First, ICP is a sensitive method that can detect even trace levels of contaminants. The equipment only resides in the multipurpose lab at La Green. This is important because many contaminants, such as heavy metals, can be harmful to human health, even at low levels. Secondly, ICP is an accurate method. This is important because it ensures that the results of the analysis are reliable. My Straight Talk family, again, I call on the manager water engineer to break your silence. Do not allow politics to override your duties, Cromwell. My third observation refers to the hospital system in St. Kitts. I speak to St. Kitts, which continues to fail us badly, my Straight Talk family. The hospital system in St. Kitts continues to fail all of us badly. At the Joseph Nathaniel France General Hospital, We have learned there are beds without sheets. There is fungus in the bathrooms. And we've learned just yesterday about issues with the anesthesia machine. What about the long-awaited procurement of an MRI machine? Still outstanding after 2 years, my straight talk families. Are these used machines that July is begging, creating this embarrassment, my straight talk family? When we heard this, I was embarrassed, my straight talk family.
I'm not here to base on the health department. I really have a serious problem. Now, before I get to my situation, I'm going to talk about something that happened to one of my friends. He got injured on his work. He went to the hospital. They bang up his hand after he told them what the situation is. They sent him out. He realized the hand is paining him, so he went back to the hospital again. And this time, he had an extra. Now, after doing the extra, and he paid for the extra and he been moved back home, he still have this pain problem. So he went to the doctor, yeah, Dr. Henderson. Big up yourself, Dr. Henderson, that's my doctor, CM, man. Great doctor, that man. You see me? So he went to Dr. Henderson, and Dr. Henderson probably called for the result at the hospital. Get to find out the young man and his break. Now tell me, people, what is really going on? I need to know. Because we have a loving Prime Minister. He's telling us about these machines that he's bringing, and he's working so this and he's working so that. Well, to me, not they working, you know. Not they working.
Well, nothing is working, says the Rastaman. As if that was a fairy tale. The brethren got his own dose of poor service at the JN France General Hospital. And he reported this, my straight talk family.
I got in a situation on the 21st of October. I went to the hospital. They sent me on an X-ray. When I finished doing the X-ray, the doctor came back to me and told me that I put them in screen. Well, I was home suffering for a week and days. But when I'm home and I have visitors come checking on me, and so the people keep telling me, that's the man now, something is strange. The foot they need to be looking after. So I went to Dr. Henderson again, and I told him the situation what I've been to. He called for the result again. Now I get to know now. Ain't just one foot breaking up. It's two of them. So what is really going on in this place? How is it the Prime Minister is telling we about this machine that is working so nice and working so this and working so that, but yet we cannot get a good result? Something is strange. Something is very, very, very strange. And me, definitely, would like to get some answers.
Yes, we all want answers, my straight talk family. That is what is going on, sadly, at our major health institution, the Joseph Nathaniel France General Hospital. That is what's going on, sadly, under July. He's the second minister of health who is a doctor. And from the performance of the first minister, Asim Martin was also a trained Cuban doctor. Back then, during his 10 years in health, our health system hit the ground. Something similar is happening under Drew. My fourth observations, my straight dog family, on a lighter note, I must extend commiserations to all the San Francisco 49ers fans who have, I know the 49ers have won 5 Super Bowls, I think, in franchise history. Yes, back quarterback Joe Montana led the 49ers to 4 Super Bowl wins in the 1980s, with wins over Cincinnati, twice along with the Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos. I used to follow this game a lot. I recall Steve Young helped the 49ers win the Super Bowl in the 2004 season in a dominant 49-26 win over the San Diego Chargers. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs who will bring home, or took home, I should say, the Vince Lombardi Trophy for the second year in a row. And the third time in 5 years after quarterback Patrick Mahomes rallied his team, which had been dominated by San Francisco in the first half. Kansas City beat the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023 last year, recall, with a score of 38-35, close game, in Arizona to win the Lombardi Trophy. But many, while they were making their predictions, overlooked the fact that the last time these two teams met at the Super Bowl was the Kansas City Chiefs' first Super Bowl win. The second loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, who in 2020 won 31-20 and now in 2024, 25-22. My Straight Dog family, remember what happened.
I can only feel the number of people out there being like, what's going on? First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City! And this was the Andy Reid special. This was the Andy Reid special we talked about. He was saving all day. He's going to fake a motion to go across. And at that moment, he turns and goes back. Hardman, who they didn't have, right?
And they win it by 3 on this touchdown throw to Mecole Hardman, who started the season as a Jet.
Jim, I want you to know this was an incredible call. What they did, Andy Reid right here, and Mahomes' eyes holding people inside. You cannot look at Mahomes' eyes. Watch this right here, right there. See this motion? As soon as that happens, Ward's eyes go to the next guy inside. And at that point, he's out leveraged.
Well, congratulations must therefore be in order for the fans of the Kansas City Chiefs, my Straight Dog family. And my final observation, without comment, Straight Talk confirmed that Terrence Michael Drew secretly traveled to Barbados on the weekend pass and participated in what his a very good friend of his, called his shotgun wedding. Then he posted this information on his Facebook page about his shotgun wedding. And that's the most we will say here on Straight Talk about that shotgun wedding. But those are my observations in review, my Straight Talk family. And as I said, tonight I have titled my thesis, Let's Send Samal Back to Montreville Farms. And a secret poll was conducted among farmers, vendors, including supermarket owners, and a representative sample of citizens. And for that reason, we can report that an accumulative 90% of people surveyed felt that Samal Duggins is generally doing a terrible job as minister. More importantly, my Straight Talk family, it was reflected that the results were influenced by his very dismal performance as minister with responsibility for agriculture. Asked if Samal was fit for purpose, and a resounding 100% said hell no. When responding to the salient question about the path to resolving this disquiet in agriculture, 100% almost said, send Samal back to Montreville farms. Well, as your host, I always lean on the facts. So I went to do my own research on this egregious matter that relates to our food nutrition and, of course, our food security. And I present my findings as follows. Straight Talk found out that Samuel Duggins quietly descended upon Old Road after moving into Montreville farms with a view towards diversifying the ground beef production started by the late doctor and his father-in-law. It was described as a family-owned business and farm which utilizes sustainable agro-technology, infrastructure, and methods aimed at advancing the food and nutrition security agenda in the region, while promoting education, skill development, job creation, and people empowerment. Samal, it was said, ventured into farming to run his family business, and he was named some time ago Man of the Year for Agriculture. My Straight Talk family, it was long after his political ambition was uncovered, then we saw his subsequent launch as a Labour candidate in April of 2022. And yes, he was successful at the polls in August that same year, my Straight Talk family. Now, CARICOM heads of government approved the establishment of the CARICOM private sector organization at its 40th regular meeting of the conference in July 2019 as commitment to private sector participation. The CPSO was officially conferred the status of an associate institution of CARICOM on the 29th of October 2020 at the 41st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the CARICOM or the Caribbean Community. CPSO is to act as the apex institution for the private sector in CARICOM. Mayor Motley of Barbados, lead head with responsibility for the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, issued an urgent call for the region to reduce the extra regional food import bill by 25% before 2025. The 25 by 2025 initiative aimed at reducing extra regional agri-food imports by 25% by 2025 is the CPSO's response to the mandate it was given. It offers the greatest opportunity for the CARICOM private sector to truly realize the benefits of developing these opportunities within the single market and economy. St. Kitts Nevis, like the rest of the CARICOM region, still has a dependency on imported foods, which is leaving the territory vulnerable to economic shocks and health challenges. And this was highlighted when the war in Ukraine started, and the supply chain bottlenecks resulted in an increase in food prices in St. Kitts and Nevis. Fortunately, nonetheless, Samal Duggins found in his office a growth strategy, my Straight Dog family. He found in his office a growth strategy that was ratified by the Tim Harris Team Unity administration back in 2022, my Straight Talk family. And all Samal Duggins had to do was to read this report. All he had to do was to read this report, my Straight Talk family. Nothing else. All he had to do, as I said, was to read this report. Did he read the report, my Straight Talk family? It's a question we ask. Did he? My Straight Talk family? This growth strategy report was ratified. But Samal Duggins seemed to have entered his office with a confused mind as a self-declared farmer, although he seemed to have got on board with the 25 by 25 initiative, because we recall he made mention of this, my Straight Talk family, very early in his term. He did say this, my Straight Talk family, and I'm sure we will recall this.
As I look around the room, I see stakeholders from different sectors. Some of you farmers, some of you fisherfolk, some of you representing agencies that do research, some of you representing universities, some of you representing businesses that all thrive on the basis of agriculture. And if we take the time to understand that, we get down to the importance of why we're here today. And as we stand here today, talking about CARICOM's 25 by 2025 agenda, our food bill stands at $190+ million. And if we do a simple mathematical equation, we recognize that 25% of that is somewhere near 50 million. And the essence of what we are here discussing today is how we can share $50 million amongst all of them. My job here as the Minister of Agriculture is to ensure that that $50 million is going to you.
My Straight Talk family, at times, he said the right things, my Straight Talk family. At times, he said the right things, like this.
Food security, nutrition security is indeed a must for St. Kitts and Nevis. Because we can survive without a lot of things, but we cannot ever survive without food. And you have my commitment, with your support, your help, that we all will be able to get our fair share of that 25%, our fair share of that 50 million, and our fair share of driving St. Kitts and Nevis to become the most food secure, sustainable island state in the world.
But in reality, my Straight Talk family, Samal Duggins apparently did not show the kind of welcome to some of the important stakeholders in the sector, like the consortium of approximately 90 or 100 farmers, as intimated by its president.
We consulted was told last year, before July, that the 25 by 25 plan will be done, everything will be achieved, or everything will be satisfied by July of last year. All right, and that was something that they said in a discussion, and it was something that took all of us back. It took us all by surprise that they would even make such a statement when the most important persons to carry on this, implement this, would be the primary persons to deliver this are the farmers, who yet doesn't have access to a plan before them to follow.
No plan. He had no solution. He had no plan, my Straight Talk family. He had no solution for the issue of wild pigs and approximately 30,000 monkeys that continue to reap havoc amongst the farming community, my Straight Talk family. No plan whatsoever, it seemed, that he did not have, my Straight Talk family. He acknowledged the growing population of the monkeys, my Straight Dog family. Yes, he did acknowledge the growing population of the monkeys, my Straight Dog family. So at times, like I said, he says the right things, my Straight Dog family. At times he just says the things that seem right, like this.
Yes, good morning. And I want to thank you for your question. Now, we recognize that the issue with feral animals would have been a long-standing issue for agriculture in this country. We have at the top of the list in St. Kitts, the monkeys and wild pigs. And in Nevis, while they have some bit of those at the top of their list, will also be donkeys. And so the issue isn't an issue that has gone unchecked. However, when you look at it, we have done some research. We've had a consultant in, and we estimate that the population of monkeys has grown tremendously. They're anticipating right now from research that there's about over 30,000 on St. Kitts alone.
So what, Samal? He spoke about his vision for small business development as well, my Straight Dog family. He said this about small business development.
And as a minister responsible for small business development and entrepreneurship, I want to speak to the future of our country as it relates to our people developing themselves in small businesses. Because when we rallied to get here, we offered a vision of a new St. Kitts and Nevis. And the Small Business Development Ministry, as we are now rolling it out, because obviously it did not exist in the last budget, but we are also organizing that we can provide low-interest financing to our business people, and also grants. And so as we go into estimates and budget in the few weeks coming, we want to ensure that by 2023, that our people see an increase in successful small businesses. And we stand committed to that.
2023 has come and gone, my Straight Dog family. And it is obvious that farmers in St. Kitts are not considered by Samal as entrepreneurs and or small businesses, as not even an advisory policy board that would give farmers a voice. Did Samal agree with my Straight Dog family? Not even that. Not even an agreement to give farmers a voice.
Come up, we truly approach them with, because they don't say it. We ask them to let's begin to establish the farming voice. And what we said, what we meant by that, we said we want to ensure that there's an advisory policy board of sorts set up that has that bridge between the ministry and the farmers, so that you have farmer representatives, whether it's the livestock, the crops, the agro processors, and whosoever else represented there, maybe with an economist, a project manager, accountant, whatever could support the field engineer, right? So that we could begin to analyze some of these projects and so on, and make sure that we can have the best out of them and so on, and assess them properly and so on. Because again, those have proven to be problematic, but more so is that in the design of these policies and projects, we should be there from the beginning, because we have to implement them in the end, right? And that is why so many times in the 70s, with the World Bank projects and IMF and so on, we had so much white elephant projects. They look nice, but they're white elephant. You ever see a white elephant in your life? They can't work, right? Because we don't have the means to carry the institutional capacity. And right now, if you have a plan to carry, you have a plan to deliver on, you could build storage, you could put down greenhouses, you could build all kind of things out there. But the human resources, you have not restored them.
And my Straight Dog family, the truth is, Samal Duggins has not reposed any confidence in a great majority of the farmers.
We don't have the confidence in our own people, and so we treat them a particular way. And time has really come that people kind of wise up to these kind of things. Because, again, if you're not dealing with the people and offer them some sense of agency and treat them with a level of dignity, what kind of development you're talking about? Because poverty is a kind of prison. Freedom and development go hand in hand. With freedom comes development, and with development comes freedom.
Interesting perspective. But hear this, my street dog family. We are going to need the farmers if we are to attain food security. Because the concept of food security incorporates valid economic arguments about the need to ensure that every household has adequate food of adequate nutritional value, and the equally valid political notion that no country could be considered truly independent if it must depend on imports for meeting the vast bulk of its food requirements. The goal of food security is thus closely related to the agricultural development objectives of growth in output and productivity, to meet growing demands of the domestic market, sustainability, to maintain adequate levels of production in the future, and stability, to reduce the adverse effects on both the inherent instability of agricultural output and the periodic swings associated with cyclical changes in the economic environment, including the effect of such changes on prices and supplies of important food. But finally, my straight dog family, the greater local production of food can more effectively link agriculture with tourism, for example. So there's need to create economic linkages, and instead of trying to take credit for Team Unity cruise ships, Marsha and Samal should put their heads together and try to create an economic link between tourism and agriculture. But Samal, my straight dog family, is confused. Samal Duggins, the minister, is confused about his strategy when it comes to taking agriculture forward. At one time, he speaks to this.
We also recognize that the world is moving in a direction that we ought to, based on our land size, based on the fact that climate change is affecting all of us. And so we conceptualize what we call the greenhouse villages. I'm happy to note that on Friday of this week, which is Friday, we are going to be breaking ground for that.
When was the ground broken, my straight dog family? Remember, he spoke as well about money on trees, growing money on trees. He's so confused.
Marijuana industry, as we have heard, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we have been dragging at a snail's pace in getting involved. And I could not understand for the life of me why. Literally growing money on trees. But yet somehow, we don't want to participate. But I dare say, that era is over. And it's now a new day. And a better way. So in 2023, expect a vibrant, thriving marijuana industry. Literally growing money on trees.
Not a laughing matter, my straight dog family. Because again, 2023 has come and gone. But I support this comment, my straight dog family, about the lack of leadership in agriculture. I strongly support this proposition.
The leaders we have in agriculture, put it bluntly, are a waste. They don't care nothing about agriculture. They're just in the job collecting the monthly salary. They are farmers for themselves, not for the country. Look at all of them who is in farming, who is in the position. They are successful, but look how they have the country struggling.
So yes, I concur. Yes, I agree. They are for themselves. Because when you go to the supermarkets, my Straight Dog family, all you'll see are products on the shelves from this particular farm, my Straight Dog family. You'll see those products, beg your pardon, on the shelf from this particular farm. Is it? Can you see it, my Straight Dog family? So what's the cry? The cry from everyone is simple. It is straightforward. Let's send Samal back to Montreville Farms. He's not fit for purpose. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls. I'll also entertain your emails. At 9:19, I implore you, and I do open the lines, I'll do so momentarily. I implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things you say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and saying those things, my Straight Dog family, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. That said, at 9:19, I go to the lines and say, caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is good night.
Wow, good night, my dear brother, the Bible man. Give me...
And how are you, Mr. Patil?
I am peaceful. As someone told me, of late you don't give us any Bible verses. Why?
Oh, we don't. That is so wonderful. Well, the first one, Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
He shall.
In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him.
Yep.
Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High
shall abide
on the shadow of thy mighty.
Yes.
Psalm 37.
Fret not.
Fret not thyself because of evildoers.
True.
Neither envy against the work.
Workers of iniquity.
For the tomb shall cut down like a grass.
Yes.
Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue in my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear it and be glad. Psalm 51.
Wow.
You know Psalm 51, Mr. Patrick?
Give me the first word. I'll tell you.
There were the passages in Psalm 51.
Yes.
It said, create in me, O God,
clean.
Renew a right spirit in me.
Yes.
He said, cast not away thy, not take thy Holy Spirit from me.
Okay, my brother.
Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit.
Thank you.
Psalms 107.
Oh, wow.
Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good.
His mercies.
For his mercy endured forever.
Yes.
He said, let the redeemer of the Lord say so, who he had redeemed from the hands of the enemy.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the last one,
yes.
Isaiah 54:17.
Mm-hmm.
No weapon that form against thee shall prosper.
Yes.
And every tongue that rises up against thee in judgment shall condemn. Yes. Mr. Patrick, good night.
Good night, my Straight Dog family. Thank you. That's the Bible man for those verses of scripture. I go to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd.
How are you, my dear brother, Carl?
Oh, I'm not going to back to my age. I'll be stepping up one more year older on Thursday.
Yes, you're an Aquarian. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thursday is my birthday. Also, oh my.
No wonder.
Thursday is several persons' birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
We have DJ Marisha celebrating on Thursday too.
Wow.
And we have EK celebrating on Thursday. And we have Isilma Wilkin, retired nurse, in Sandy Point, will be celebrating on Thursday. All of you all, pre-happy birthday greetings, and as the Lord continue to bless us, we're making one more year older. Patrice, we have to have a serious discussion on these houses that is being built by this Trinidad company, because, Patrice, we are confused. Why we are confused? We were told last year that 600 houses per year. We have not had any yet. And March is coming up. The other thing about it is this, Patrick. I keep asking the question and nobody's answering. How much land are we selling to the Trinidad company to build these houses? How much per square foot, if any, is being sold to them? Because we are also being told that they are building houses on people's land. And it will be of no cost to the government. They are putting up the money. And NHC is claiming that these houses are the one. Patrick, if the company is building them, they are not NHC houses. They are the company houses under the management and supervision of NHC. So we need some clarification.
Okay, having said all of that, though, how come you jump from agriculture, you go on to housing? You just changed my topic tonight.
Well, no. That I come into agriculture now. I have been calling.
Yeah.
I have been calling for the cabinet reshuffle of Minister Samal Duggins, because he ain't doing nothing in sports. Look how dead and sports is. Worse, he ain't doing nothing in agriculture. He have no idea, no clue of what's going on in agriculture. You hear what? No.
So who would you have to replace him?
Oh my God, that's a hard one, Patrice. That's a hard one, because right now, to our mind, we don't have nobody there that we can, in that ministry, that we could point out right away to say to replace Samal. So it seems like we're gonna have to make someone junior minister of agriculture. It seems like we don't can have a senior minister.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, my brother. Okay.
Now, quickly before I go.
Please.
If Samal had any clue what's going on in agriculture, Patrick, we have the banks them got all these lands tie up in the land for debt swap. Now, government and banks could sit down and work out something. And as they say, the government them has been paying on the debt. Now all these land is sitting there in grass and bush. No sale, no rental, no leases for them. Now we're talking about the 25 by 25. You hear the farmers them bawling, they want extra land to do crop farming, they want extra land for the animals and all sorts of things. Now all these land in bush. Don't you think the government could have sit down with the banks, the Ministry of Agriculture, and say, look, we know that the lands are yours, but let me work out something, because we want to cut down the bill by 25%. So let us lease the land to the farmers, give the farmers all who want extra land, so we could reach this target, right? Patrick, I don't think the bank would have refused. We ain't saying we'd have buy them back from the bank, but lease them.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And you would have meet the target. But the guy have no clue. He he ain't even dancing in his show.
Okay, my brother. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, my dear brother Carl. I'm going to guide our callers again to our rules of brevity, in that I believe we can deliver a mouthful with 2 or 2.5 minutes. 4 minutes is just too long. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your life. Hello, caller. How are you? How are you, my brother from another mother?
Yes, man, your brother from another mother is good. I told you was to check the house because someone says that the house is finished or something like that. I don't know if you are checking. But listen, Samuel, from the very day Samuel get in, he says he wants by 2025 we're going to either come off or we're going to reach a target to come off. Samuel crazy. This is 2024 and think it's not big yet to get relief from farmers. And he wants it to still go to 2024. The man they crazy. The man they out of order. Anyway, Mr. Strater, you are doing a wonderful job. You see, you got children that listen. You see Assad send an email to you. So Assad are listening to you, though. You got people that listen to you all over this great world. But they secretly, they're not saying nothing. They just wait to and hear what you're doing and what you're not doing. Mr. Strater, I just want to give you thanks for what you are doing. You are doing a wonderful job. Do not let nobody stop you from doing what you got to do. St. Louis, my sister, be good. Queen of Texas, be good. Okay. All right? Okay, my brother culture, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Mr. Strater, just do what you got to do. See you when I see you.
See you when I see you, my dear brother, as well. Good to hear you all the time. Yes, I did in fact see the house. And I wonder if a full-size bed, not a queen, a full-size bed can fit in that bedroom. I'm writing, beg your pardon, to let you know that Rue Costa, I was trying to get that earlier. Yes, Rue was invited to attend her school's awards ceremony, where she has received 3 awards. She was acknowledged for her perfect attendance as an accelerated reader, and she made the honor roll. Rue is currently striving to get back onto the superintendent's honor roll for the next quarter. Her educators and family all know that she has what it takes to make it. We are also very proud of her. Yes, we are proud of her as well. Here on Straight Talk, Rue Costa in Caroline is a part of the Junior Brigade. Caller, I thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
Mr. Liburd, you know that I say all the time I just get in. That don't mean I don't call. I just call, but it's have to get in some time. Because I can't hear you. I am with you since you start. Last Monday I was trying to call back and I did not get you. I know you have a lot of callers. What I wanted to say, the big boat could not cover your peer. People vex when people say so. If not the whole thing, you do something. You have done something well. Look at the rest things and want to claim them. Don't care what. If they don't want to call your name and they even want to claim them, they still can't say it's them. It was not working. The former tourism minister would have liked to be there. I don't know if they invite him. It's his start and some is his vote too. Can't study everything you hear people say. They are saying, fair share and 10 men in one, invite the prime ministers all the time, the ministers from long time, to keep a meeting in the country to get out Timothy, get out themselves. Labour did not want them, cheat to get them out. Just right again. Load of joy, right? Country to country. You all right?
Yes, I'm peaceful. I am peaceful.
Okay, I had so much.
Alice in Wonderland.
They talk again, everybody here, because that's all they just call me. They forget the story. But you give them the story of my name.
Alice in Wonderland.
Thank you. I ain't calling back now because I can't get back in another time.
Okay.
See you. House Assembly tomorrow. We want to hear what's going on.
Press conference, you mean? Okay, that's Alice in Wonderland. I go straight back to the lines. It's 27 before the 10 o'clock hour. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Patrice.
How are you, my brother? Good night.
I am great, man. I am great. Good night, brother. Straight Talk and all the soldiers who just call in and all who listening to Straight Talk. Patrice, Samal Duggins, I ain't surprised with his performance because the whole team getting in office in the wrong way. And what start wrong cannot finish right. You have to stop in the middle and restart again to get it finished right. So I ain't surprised with he. And when he come and talk about virtually growing money pan tree, he laugh. You know what a laugh mean? He doing it long before anybody else. That's why he could come and talk about money pan tree. He ain't looking after the country as an agriculture minister. He concerned about himself. Otherwise, he would have start to curtail the population of the monkeys. But I'm glad the farmers, them eyes are open, and every one of them speaking out. What is wrong? They're talking to the general public. You got a lot of people see a lot of wrong things going on in the country, and they're calling it right. A lot of them afraid to talk. But I know for sure, soldiers like we who are calling, we are not afraid. Because anybody see wrong doing, especially in the public domain, and they refuse to call it out, they condoning wrong. That is going on, but hear this. Mr. Lawyer Button Up, he can't remember things that happened while he was in ministry from 95 to when he retired. But he could remember when he first went to grammar school and things. I heard him said that he was a member of Rivals Football Club. And that is way back patches. But I'm glad to hear you play the clip with Dr. Douglas. When Dr. Douglas lay him out. And one thing I like Dr. Douglas, but he ain't holding back in him out. So Patches, thank you for the little time you give me here tonight.
Thank you for
when you open the line early o'clock, then we will get longer time to make 2 shots. So have a good night, man. Thank you.
Have a good night, my brother. Thanks for your contribution. This novel or Revised Media Association reads this email that has been making the rounds on radio last week is a next joke. These nominal journalists in St. Kitts only exist in name. They are a bunch of frightened, coward, and trembling men and women when they appear in front of the Prime Minister, Premier, or any Minister of Government. They are scared to ask the questions that they feel will make ministers uncomfortable. They are acting as palace guards, protecting and watching over the backs of government ministers in defense of them. I wonder how much they are being paid. I agree that some of them are in dire need of materialism and other forms of assistance and may be looking or expecting help, and therefore do not. Sorry about that. And therefore do not want to jeopardize their chances of success. If that is the case, then cease parading around as journalists. If you are getting to be circumspect and guarded in asking hard questions of the ministers of government, or do what is expected of you in the name of journalism, the people of the Federation expect better of you. If any of you are afraid of being insulted for asking questions, take action with your pen, for certainly it is mightier than the sword and can crumble a government. reads this email. It is 23 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. For those who may have just joined me, I am looking at my thesis for tonight. Let's ask Samal, my street dog family, let's send Samal back to Montreville Farms is the topic we are discussing tonight. And we looked at his performance. I'll get back to the emails, but just for those who may have just joined me, we looked at his performance thus far, and it is generally agreed that he is not fit for purpose, my street dog family. It is generally agreed that he is confused in terms of a strategy and a policy in taking agriculture forward. But this other email reads, in the meanwhile, my straight dog family, the lines are open, like I said. I listened to Inside the News on Win FM last Saturday with two journalists moderating. It was quite interesting and very instructive to learn that some journalists are being underpaid for their hard work. It was also amazing to hear that they do not have, my street dog family, to hear that they do not have the human resources to effectively carry out their work. They seem very despondent, beg your pardon, as they explain the serious challenges that confront them daily on the job. Although they were well guarded with their remarks, I glean that they are significantly underpaid, and that should not be. It is an abomination because that particular radio station is the most profitable, prosperous, and the populous station in the Federation. It is overwhelmed with advertisements which accumulates tens of thousands of dollars. In addition, there are numerous government programs and other transactions also amass thousands of dollars by the station. Therefore, why it is so hard to employ more workers to minimize the pressure on these journalists so that they give the public the latest and up-to-date news items instead of having the public bombarded with incessant and repetitious beg your pardon, stale news, Mr. Manager. Come on, man. Do not keep all the gains for yourself. It is imperative that you share the body equitably with the workers and hire more people to work. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, I thank you for holding your live.
Mr. Patches, greetings. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself? Greetings.
I'm very good. Continue listening to your educational program.
Thank you.
Whenever conflict arises between material and spiritual values, the conscience plays an important role. Anyone who suffers from a guilty conscience is never free from his problems until he makes peace with his conscience. Mr. Patches, one or two observations and reviews that you point out tonight, an integral part of your program as it continues to be, and that's very good. Mr. Patches, we as a country, we cannot say between ourselves that our country didn't have no development over the past 7 years. If we put our mind in that frame, we will be putting ourselves, our country, in danger. Why? Because the administration that passed, if you look at the persons who, let's say, was in the core of the administration, a broad field of our society. And if we are saying that our society is such an educational society or Christian society, what we're saying from a broad field of educated academics put together, we didn't get nothing from that. Whereas as a sheep, we don't have an education in our country. Which you pointed out from the view of standard pertaining the water engineer and the standard that should be taken concerning the testing of water. It's good you mentioned that. And, if we have qualified people in here, in our country, when it comes to certain national issues, they should make an independent point.
Sure.
That could balance out the system. We can't leave everything up to politicians. No, we can't do that. We can't carry back our country in that kind of situation. Because remember, we had a mixed government just gone. So the country now don't open up to certain varieties of discussion. You also talk about the former tourism minister and the way he framed his comments pertaining the Attorney General. You see, that's the thing with our country, Mr. Patches. We say we are Christian country, but we don't like to talk the truth.
Sure. Yes.
Because, you see, the Attorney General ain't nothing personal, no one dealing with. It's your country.
Yes.
And when a lawyer will come from a prestigious firm, and first time he put in a case to the court, and look what happened to it. He put the case in because he bring the injunction towards a citizen of this country to stop, let's say, a notice from hearing, even though he aware of the evidence at the injunction that he was putting out. So, how the former tourism minister viewing that and could make that kind of comment. I was surprised at the time the Bar Association didn't make a comment because, it was valuable the Bar Association make a comment pertaining to what happened and the judgment that come down towards the minister. So, for we to balance out, we can continue governing our country from image. Is either a man is wrong or is right, and it's issues. There's many ways to be wrong in our Patches, but it's one way to be right, and that's the right way. You continue to be strong.
Thank you very much, man.
And may God continue to bless your Patches.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you as well. Thank you very much. I always like to sit up and really absorb the contribution of that caller. It's only one way to be right. That's to be right. Caller, your life.
Yes, I come back quickly. Good night, Shah. And I hadn't listened to this program. No Patches. If Samal Duggins, as Minister of Agriculture, had any interest in agriculture, whether it's marine agriculture, underground agriculture, or livestock animal agriculture, he would have shown his concern with the lady of Monkey Hill who get 140 sheep born up in she pen. But until now, he ain't said nothing about that. So what interest do we show into the public that he got in agriculture? None. Absolutely none. And if they got to ask me what to do with him, I will say, throw him out of Parliament one time. Done with him. Let him go look work somewhere. Thank you, Patches. Have a good night.
Thank you.
That is all I come back to say.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. This other email reads, Mark Brantley, the Premier of Nevis, is a wicked, spiteful, devious, bad man. He always proclaims that Hensley Daniel of the NRP taught him in school and undoubtedly endowed him with the education which he now enjoys today to become the Premier. Most people I know who have left schools never lose respect for their respective teachers. However, Mark is completely different. He cursed his teacher Hensley inside out and is doing all in his power to deny him from receiving his pension. Mark should be happy to assist his teacher Hensley instead of making him or making fun of him. Nothing is morally wrong if Hensley wanted to be the nominated member of the opposition NRP, even as you claim. Mark just to secure his pension, Hensley has performed exceptionally well. As Deputy Premier, he is not lazy. He's a hard worker and should be given every chance to work and get his pension. You are a bad-minded fellow, selfish, crooked, lie, and dangerous. To hell with man and leave Hensley alone, reads this email. I have heard many people sharing various things on the Old Road Bay after the recent rainstorm. What was noteworthy was the fact that everyone agreed that the Team Unity government did all the scientific research before and based on their advice systematically constructed the new road at Old Road Bay. Therefore, when others who have nothing sensible to say, like Dr. Drew, who claim that the new road has taken away the scenic view, what utter nonsense and stupidity emanating from the Prime Minister. Why don't he talk about his Labour Party government that gave a Chinese investor permission to construct a massive edifice on the Bay Road in town to block out the beautiful view of the Bastia Harbour, with Nevis in the extended background? That is what he should be criticizing, instead of the lovely Old Road Bay New Road that is now saving grace for commuters. The saving grace for commuters, beg your pardon. God bless Patches for his foresight, innovation, perseverance, and being so resolute in ensuring this road came to fruition, reads this other email. Patches, some weeks ago, one asked you if you knew the reason why Jason Davis of ZIZ News room was unceremoniously taken out of the newsroom and haughtily sidelined. You promised you are going to check it out. Were you able to do so? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. You alive. Hello, caller. Okay. Seems as if I lost that caller. I'm sorry about that, caller. Yes, my Shredog family, yes, you did ask that. Someone asked that question. I was told that he got a promotion. I will, if I recall, I did in fact check that. So I will get back and see if I get some other information about that. My straight dog family. Let's go back to the lines. I'll call you live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Liburd.
So.
Carl here again.
Yes, Carl.
Mr. Liburd, also in Shadwell, remember it's 12 was big in Shadwell by the think it is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is a well on the first Shadwell Road and the one on the second road, which you show the picture of tonight. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
Last week, many days, the people of St. Peter's were claiming that they didn't have water for days. Mm-hmm. And last month, we understand some more bins or bucket was given out in St. Peter's. We have not heard or seen of the shed and the pump that was said to be would have been hooked up as part of the deal in giving out these tanks or buckets, as they are called, up until now. Mm-hmm. And remember, Mr. Allen was on Freedom some months ago and said that that was part of the deal, mm-hmm, of hooking up these tanks or buckets
thing, but all you hear Dr. Joe is talking about the water that is found in Keon, but you don't hear him saying nothing about Monkey Hill, and Monkey Hill, St. Peter's has been balling for years of not having water for many days and many hours. And St. Peter's where he born and raised. And the other thing, what is going on with the road from St. Peter's to town? That I ain't seen no work happening lately. What is going on there? There by the church, they had cut, go right up, go to the back behind there by the ATM machine. Say that was to do a bypass road to the they dig it up, level it off, put down the gravels and so. And what is going on with that? No work is being done. Could somebody tell us if money run out, if the project stops, if there's a hole in the project, what? Gone.
Okay, thank you, brother. Good night, Patches. There is something very strange about Drew's sudden marriage. The DPP needs to look seriously into it because they say he married to a lawyer. Drew is hiding something and nothing small. I wish St. Kitts Nevis people were smart, but they love to sleep, while Drew and the Labour keep taking us for granted. Reads that email. Another thing, Patches, something going on in that Skellig company. For the month of December alone, my bill came to $400 extra. Many of the citizens ran under the Douglas Labour Party, and many more have left under Drew. Because living in St. Kitts is hard. Not one, but two. 17% tax is on food. And Drew on the ear about Marriott asked him to bring in 50 people to work. When the people here working for next to nothing, Douglas was the one who said, don't pay them in US. Look how these people forget so easily. He lied to the people once again, just to make himself look good. But as Bob Marley said, you can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people. You can fool the people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. But St. Kitts Nevis people enjoys Jew calling them fools. Boy, Patches, this Labour under Jew is worse than Douglas, but they could never be better than Tim. Reads this email. I'm trying to dispense up all these emails, my Straight Talk family. Dear Mr. Liburd, it seems like the more pastors pray against Timothy Harris is the more God bless him. Their prayers not going anywhere. The more these pastors like Janet Harris, Jonathan Bass, Isaiah Phillip, Leroy Matthew, Michael Moses, Cyprian Williams, Randall Thompson, and others pray, is more things go bad in the country. I never used to hear nor see these pastors at national prayer events, and neither at independent services before Labour won. Now they've done march for Labour and scream down the place and get the reward. It's like God turned his back on us. Look how well Jew who don't have use for God, and the slow student Jeffrey who made God vex with his closet behavior make a fool out of these pastors. All of a sudden, pastors don't have a problem with homosexuality. They are getting big money all of a sudden. Please ask these pastors to please stop pray for us because they only make things worse in the country. These pastors think they're fooling people. I just learned that Pastor Harris, Janet Harris, is the chairperson for Social Security. We navigate escape jail. A bunch of hypocrites. Reads this email. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Mr. Liburd, man. Good evening. How you doing?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself? Good evening.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, there have been some great contributions tonight, like usual.
Thank you.
That soft-spoken guy who, he's normally bring them good subjects and them good points. You know, that dude is somebody to listen to, and I've been listening to him really closely.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, man, since I met you, yo, Patches, let me ask. I want to just say, can you meet me down by the ferry terminal at midnight tonight, man? As a matter of fact, let me put it like this: can you meet me by the ferry terminal by midnight? By this is the key. This is the key word right now. By meet me at the ferry terminal by midnight. Does that mean you could stroll down there at 12:59 a.m. to meet me, or you going to meet me at midnight? What are you going to do, man? Tell me which one you figured I'm asking you or saying to you. Meet me by midnight. What does that mean?
I'll take it as a rhetorical question, my brother.
Meet me by midnight, man. Does that mean meet me by 12:59 a.m.?
It mean 11:59.
Nah, I mean I'm pushing it past midnight now to the next hour.
Okay.
So which one are you going to try to? You're going to try to get there maybe 11:59 so you could be on time, or you're going to get there like 12:59 a.m. going hitting 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'll get
by time
I'll get there by midnight.
Yeah, all right, man. I want everybody in the whole world. It's very simple for me tonight. Meet me by midnight.
Okay.
Does anybody in the whole wide world is going to show up at 12:59 a.m.? So you're talking about agriculture tonight. So I listened to the minister, right? So the terminology that they're coming up with, 25 by 25.
25 by 25, okay. I got you.
25 by 25. This is the comparison I'm making tonight. 25 by 25.
Okay, me too.
What does 25 by 25 means to anybody in the audience tonight? Does it mean January 1st, 2025? Or does it mean December 31st, 2025?
Got you.
This is a simple question I got for you tonight, Patches. simple question, man.
2025.
I guarantee you one of them young brigades that you got listening to you could answer that question nice and easy for us tonight. So you know, I've heard the big man in the conversation tonight, the Minister of Agriculture. I've heard him talk on another station, and he said their target goal is for 31st of December at the end of that year.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're trying to do, if they're trying to buy time.
Okay.
I'm going to just stick with the agriculture real quickly. So, you know, a lot of this is kind of like putting blame, a lot of blame. They're trying to put off a lot of blame on the previous administration, right? But this initiative, it is not Timothy initiative. It ain't Mark Brantley initiative. It is not Sean Richards initiative. It is not Team Unity initiative. This is an initiative from CARICOM. This is not coming from the Federation of Sinkers and Nevis. So this political stuff for them man keep playing, they gotta move past the stuff, man. You know what I mean? The man is just faking their way through right now. You know, what I want to see the ministry and the farmers come on the radio station together. Because, Patches, after I done talk to you at the ferry terminal, man, I could get up to Charleston on the pier, and I could say, bye, I met Patches down on the terminal in St. Kitts, and Patches says such and such. Patches say C and D, but when I was there talking to you, you was only telling me about A and B. You get me? So this is what the man doing. The man said, talk on another radio station up to this afternoon, and the man said he go in the meetings with the consortium, the farmers and them, and everything go well. And then the next day he put on the radio and he hear the farmers them talking another thing. You know what I'm saying? So this is just like, it's too much back and forth, man. You know, they're not gonna achieve this goal. But whenever the day come when they're supposed to announce if they got the goal in the bag or not, they're gonna come out and they're gonna make a statement and they're gonna say, yeah, hip hip hooray, this government has achieved this goal, when they're not putting in the work right now. It's too much a wide disconnect between the farmers and the ministry. And some of us are talking about job performance. You know, let me talk about some job performance about the same guy. Minister of Agriculture. You know what I mean? There's been complaints not only about agriculture, but there's been some complaints now about the sports portfolio he has. You know, one sport meet about to be transferred up to Nevis because of the poor maintenance of a facility in St. Kitts. When they know that this is an annual meet that's coming up and the facility's got to get up to par. It was a mention about the cricket tournament that was there. St. Kitts didn't even bid on it. The facilities wasn't up to par. You know, are we going to look at this as poor performance or good performance? So last year we had the slide wine dance, and then now this year we're calling for the shuffle. You know, the shuffle. I don't know what kind of shuffle is that. Is that the St. Kitts shuffle, man, or that's an American shuffle? You know, they got they last year was a dance. This year's a dance again. The slide wine was last year. Now they're shuffling this year. Okay. So the man got to get the act together, man. They got to stop talking down to the farmers, man. The farmers them got the knowledge and the man got the experience. And from what we're hearing from the farmers every day, it's nothing but complaints, man. And the complaints are like testimonies, real testimonies from real people. So you can't fake me out, man. But, you know, it's in the hands of the people, whether they're going to keep him on or get rid of him when the next election comes up. Okay. Different than that, man. We gotta pay attention to the case you had before with the AG, and then, you know, because the man was trying to stop your right to freedom of speech. True. And on top of that, now they're coming with this media glitch stuff. You know, there was a conversation about the media, being limited at some events and stuff like that. I think they had an event at the airport apron or something, and the administration is coming up with some, you know, excuses. They're coming up with stuff like, it just seems like they're trying to muffle the media. They're trying to stifle the media, man. They talk about limiting the amount of persons, like reporters from the different media house at that event, right? But that's just a tactic that the man is using to stifle the media, man. And we cannot afford for these things to happen, bro. You cannot let the media stifle, and you cannot let them run away with the judicial system. You know what I mean? Those are the two big things that you got to concentrate on. Different than that, Patches, I yet to see St. Kitts and Nevis unite and protest on some big national issues. We have some big protests going on in Haiti, and nobody's really talking about that. The people now is asking for the removal of the prime minister or the president or the leader of the country there. And there's not been enough reports on that. We have protests going on in Haiti. We got protests going on in Senegal. And we had some strikes in Guyana. The teachers, them strike in Guyana. And these are what the people of St. Kitts and Nevis got to get the courage to start doing, man. Their man got to start standing up for their rights, bro. Sure. But Mr. Liburd, man, I'm happy you.
Are you there, my brother? Okay, seem to have lost that call. Seem to have lost the call, and do apologize for that. Okay, seem to have lost that call. My dear brother, I do apologize for that. But Patches, is there a way of removing a dysfunctional leader of the opposition who is not doing his job? We, the people who don't support this jokey, selfish government, is not getting any representation. I can't understand why the state is continuing to pay this snake Mark Brantley a monthly salary for the job he's doing. This shouldn't go on anymore. It's the waste of taxpayers' money. If the snake had any decency, he would resign immediately. Dear Patches, it seems like whenever Jew celebrating something, then St. Kitts catch hell. His birthday celebration and 2 deaths. Now his wedding and 2 dead again. Well, I hope he don't have any more celebrations right now, reads this email. Patches, I hope by now the people of this country realize that this government don't care about them and this country. Dr. Drew got married and he chose to tell the people of this country via a Facebook post. I mean, really? What a disrespectful act to the citizens of this country. St. Kitts and Nevis is not good enough for Dr. Drew to get married, but still they advertise in St. Kitts and Nevis as a marriage destination. What a bunch of hypocrites, selfish and foolish people. Reads this other email. Patches, it's over a year and months ago since these worthless vagabonds in government kicked thousands of poor and needy people off the PAP program. These people are suffering and this heartless, wicked government just don't care. Poor people can't find food to eat. The electricity is being cut and some people, the arrears are going up. Parents can't afford to buy snacks for their kids to take to school. This PAP program was a great assistance for the poor and needy in this country. Just take a look at these government ministers and you will see how fat they are getting and the lavish lifestyles they are living. These people seem to forget that it's because of the same poor people who voted for them why they are able to live like this. I wonder when they are sitting down to eat, if they don't think about the thousands of poor people that they have kicked off the PAP. This government is deceitful, wicked, and spiteful. They should be charged with crimes against humanity, reads this other email. The agricultural network in the country at a policy level is in shambles. Lack of communication, hence the breakdown of our agricultural product here in St. Kitts Nevis. Minister Duggins won his seat in number 4 by default, like his other colleagues. That's why the country is suffering in general, with the agricultural fraternity taking the biggest fall, reads this other email. Patches, when we talk about how compromised these journalists are, well, Andrew Huey and of SK New Zealand is the worst amongst them. He has demonstrated that he's a simply mouthpiece for Drew. He will never find the balls to give us an unbiased report. Drew makes sure he looks after him, giving him all the first preferences with Drew lies. He wants to make sure that Drew looks good. Let Hui go sit down, reads this email. Good night, Mr. Liburd. Just food for thought. MSR hotel address, Daniel Brantley. What if M for Mark is for Sharon, R is for real estate? My straight talk probably reads this other email. Water woes. Mr. Liburd, good night. This water thing, I have some concerns. If they move the school because they say it should not be under aquifer because of pollution potential, what happened to that well in Keon that is downstream of all them houses? Is contamination not an issue there? A water source can be lost because of contamination and bad public perspective or poor communication. Who really supposed to tell us, the country, the quality of that water? And what is the present water quality before they put the water from the new well in the system? Reads that email. Very good question. Good evening, Mr. Patches. Why is Douglas Watley coming on the PAM Facebook page every time they oppose the Labour government? He's nearly 70 years old, don't have a thing to his name, but want to disrespect PAM and the contributions they have made in this country. Douglas Watley forget that he was a PAM and run down every ministry that he was a part of, but now want to disrespect Jonel Powell and PAM. The same way Big Lies, his brother, wastes all his money drinking out, trying to live off people, is the same way he's living, singing for his supper. The nurses at the hospital don't want to have anything to do with him. He come disrepute the hospital and trying to be relevant. Tell Douglas Watley what he does waste his life, that he done waste his life. Leave the PAM party alone, reads this email. And that's the emailers, and that's the way. My Straight Dog family, I'm going to end it tonight, and in the event you join me late, as I said, our thesis tonight we entitled Let's Send Samal Back to Montreville Farms, my straight dog family. Because the farmers, for example, have no
We don't
confidence
have the confidence in our own people, and so we treat them a particular way. And time has really come that people kind of wise up to these kind of things. Because again, if you're not dealing with the people and offer them some sense of agency and treat them with a level of dignity, what kind of development you're talking about? Because poverty is a kind of prison. Freedom and development go hand in hand. With freedom comes development, and with development comes freedom.
Yes, very thoughtful presentation there by the president of the consortium and my straight dog family. On that note, we are going to end tonight's programming because, as we said earlier, that the minister Samal Duggan seemed to have entered in his office in a confused state. And I wanted to leave by saying that we are going to need the farmers if we are to attain food security. As I mentioned earlier, that the concept of food security incorporates valid economic arguments, my straight dog family, about the need to ensure that every household has adequate food of adequate nutritional value available, and the equally valid political notion that no country could be considered truly independent if it must depend on imports for meeting the vast bulk of its food requirements. The goal of food security is thus closely related to the agricultural development objectives of growth in output and productivity, to meet growing demands of the domestic market, sustainability, to maintain adequate levels of production in the future, and stability, to reduce the adverse effects of both the inherent instability of agricultural output and periodic swings associated with cyclical changes in the economic environment. My straight dog family, the greater local production of food can more effectively link agriculture with tourism. So there's a need to create economic linkages, and instead of trying to take credit for Team Unity cruise ships, Marsha and Samal should put their heads together to try to create an economic link between tourism and agriculture. But Samal is obviously confused. When he's not talking about greenhouses, he's talking about money and trees. But my straight dog family, I concur with this comment about the leadership in agriculture.
The leaders we have in agriculture, put it bluntly, are a waste. They don't care nothing about agriculture. They're just in the job collecting the monthly salary. They are farmers for themselves, not for the country. Look at all of them who is in farming, who is in the position. They are successful, but look how they have the country struggling.
So yes, I agree. And that's the cry from everyone. And that's why we have to send Samal back to Montreville Farms. That's my story tonight, my straight dog family, and I am not going to change it. But I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank all of you who listened. There are thousands of you who listened, and I'm eternally grateful. There are those who sent emails, and I thank you as well. And for those who called, just remember, whether you call send an email, or just listen. You are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, I want you to be kind to all whom you meet, and to remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. I am Ian Patrick Liburd. Until we connect on Thursday, bye-bye. My Straight Talk family, keep moving on.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. My way, with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow.